Well. Again, I think we are definitely live. We need some confirmation. Uh, I think we are live. I think we're good to start.
Yeah, we're live.
We're live, but apparently waiting for some confirmation. Okay,
Confirmation. Confirmation from what? I can see it's live.
okay, okay. So we're good to go. So this is episode I think 32 of the pod or 33. I hope I'm right. And we are streaming live again, just for a change, right? Boring to speak audio wise. Videos always preferred.
We started doing for the one time and then just we couldn't let it go, right? It once we are used to this mode of the pod or stream, we don't want to go back to the pod way.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So we'll start as usual straight away with game week 35, how it went very quickly because we have a lot of things to cover and we need to wrap it up quickly within an hour. So game week 35, how did it go for you, Shiva?
So I'll keep it short. I did not have Song, and I sold Bruno for Salah, but that's the move I wanted to do anyway. So no regrets on that. But I finished on 39. Only good thing was getting a Luca Dean 8 pointer from the bench, but rest of the team pretty much failed all around. Kane captain was the only other return. So I dropped from 6K to 9K now. Still in top 10K on paper, but with the hits coming up this week, I no longer be in top 10K by the start of 36. So not a good week, but important 3 weeks to go.
Chris?
Yeah, a bad week for me too. I had a King captain, no Son, and I moved Bruno Fernandes to KDB. So that was a painful week to go through with 30 points. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the double that's coming now.
Yes, indeed. Very quickly, with regards to my team, I scored around 57 points, and even I transferred out Bruno for Mo Salah. That's because of looking at the remaining next couple of games. But I did manage to captain Son, so I kind of got away with that, and my rank was also going in the wrong direction. So probably this is probably the kickstart the right way for the next few game weeks. So I think that's done. We didn't get a lot of surprises in game week 35, besides few of the key players getting benched. It was kind of very expected in
Surprising,
terms of
surprising blanks is all what we got.
surprising blanks is all we got.
So, but 38
And
from the captain, and you got 57. So, like, it was the same thing, right? Only one player did fine. The rest of the
one,
others were like pretty much disappointment.
that's how the season is turning out to be, right? Being very weird. And with that, we'll quickly move on to Game Week 36. I think we have about 12 teams that double in Game Week 36. That's Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs, Everton, Leicester, Leeds, Villa, Norwich, Watford, and Wolves. Some of the teams are very enticing in terms of the amount of players that we can pick, although they come with the disclaimer that they may be rotated because of European games. And looking ahead, even the FA Cup final, so a lot of things to go around. Even Gaming 37 is a double with I think five teams doubling 37. That's Everton, Burnley, Villa, Palace, and Leicester. And immediately, I think we can quickly start with 36, as in the players and teams to target. So I'll go straight away to Shiva. I think we'll quickly start with the main talking point, maybe with Man City, because I think they have a good double in terms of Newcastle and Wolves, but their game against I think it's Real Madrid tomorrow is going to play a key part for us to know who is going to start, and even that result is going to help us, right? How strong Pep is going to line up his team.
Yeah, and I was just looking at the news from this morning. So Walker and Stones, those are the two players who have been having doubts for the injury concerns for last few days, and it really depends on if, for example, if Walker is fit and he plays or is involved in the Real Madrid, then things really change in terms of possible rotation. But let's say if one of Stone or Walker gets ruled out, then probably even for a hit, if you want to double up or even possibly triple up on City defense, that won't be a bad idea because immediately when you look at City's fixtures, Newcastle at home and Wolves away, so those two teams haven't really been scoring goals for fun. Newcastle have been in good form, but more like good defensive form, not like they are scoring for fun. And plus, now their survival is more than confirmed now. I don't think you will see a lot of fight or trying hard to get something out of that game. And City also would should be looking to keep that pretty quiet. So I think City fixtures in the double game week 36 look really good for clean sheets in both games. But as you said, what I'm keeping eye on is who are the four defenders starting against the game against the Real Madrid tomorrow. Because if Stones is fit, then I would hesitate in going for Laporte, because then Laporte, returning from injury, Diaz and Stones, they might switch around in that double game week, and you never know, maybe only one of them might get both games. So it's a little bit hard to predict. So, but if Stones misses out or is confirmed out, then definitely that move makes sense. Similar in terms of Cancelo, you would think that getting a rest in last week, or because he was suspended, he should be able to play remaining games. But if all of the Zinchenko, AK are back fit, and Walker also
Even
is,
Walker is back.
yeah, back in training, so you never know. Pep might even think about resting him as well. So all eyes on this game against Madrid. But in terms of attacking assets as well, so you got De Bruyne, right, in place of Bruno. So I mean, if I
Yeah,
were you, I would be equally happy, even if he missed out completely. I think he is now nailed on to start both game weeks.
yeah. That's
So
that's my opinion too
yeah,
on
I
De
mean,
Bruyne.
I don't know what's your early plan, but captaincy on De Bruyne looks
Yeah,
as good as Salah captaincy now, because he's certain to start both. But same with Salah. So
yeah,
like, all of us sold Bruno, but the players we have got, I think those are clear cut captaincy candidates for 36. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, De Bruyne definitely he looks good. And one thing, if you want to talk about game week 37 quickly, if West Ham do qualify to the final, and then I think they play that game before game week 38. So that is going to have a huge impact on what team they're going to put up against
Yeah,
City. And so let's say if you go with City double up in 36, then even if you are free hitting or not, it might be tough decision to bench City assets against West Ham. But if West Ham are out of the Europa League, then and if they put a good team, then West Ham or a team are usually score at least a goal in a game. So then I would probably hesitate to play my double City defense. So those are the kind of things that I think I'm looking at in terms of City assets. So for me right now, on my team, I don't have any City players. So one of the options that I probably will go is get double City defense and maybe one other attacker. So that's my current thoughts. But as I said, it depends on the lineups in the midweek.
I think I would rather go with the attackers, play that, because if the two teams, Liverpool and City, end up in equal points, there's the goal difference debate, and I think they might pay attention to this. Not so much, but I think if they look at a game where they can win by 3 or 4 goals, I think they will try to do that. And I think City's opponents. I believe that they are less tricky games, especially if West Ham play a weaker team. I think that could easily be a walkover for City, who will,
Who's
if they
leading the
go,
goal difference right now? I'm just quickly.
it's
Oh,
Liverpool by
Liverpool. Yeah, yeah.
2,
Mhm.
I think, or one,
One. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a
Liverpool now
one
lead by one.
difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I think both the clean sheets will be and the goals will be important. So you can't go wrong for me personally. But I think if I were like free hitting, I think it's double attack. But yeah, it all depends on how you want to structure your team for me.
So do you not think, like, looking at this fixture, 7th May, then 10th, 14th, uh, and then they have a week for 38. So we have seen in the past, right? Like Pep, when these kind of fixtures come up, once they go like 1 or 2 nil up, they don't attack, that much with intensity, and they're good to keep the lead and not score more goals. It might change because of this goal difference, but that's the reason why I was thinking more of a double defense. But also because City are 1 point ahead, I think it's pretty unlikely that it will come on goal difference, because even if say one of the two teams are dropping points, then the other one is clearly in the lead. Unless City, how will it happen? So City has to lose a game and Liverpool has to draw for them to be on the same points,
Yeah,
and then the goal difference will come.
tough.
I mean, obviously it can happen, but yeah, that's a good point.
So there's a question. Shall we address it? On the live? Yeah. Aditya, want to have a go at it? I think.
Yeah, I think it's what we are having the debate about, right? Like he's asking, Varon is asking KDB plus double defense or single defense plus Foden and Jesus. So I think what we have here is like, for me, I would go with
On a
double
free hit. On
defense.
a free hit, he says.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about the possible free hit, and we also have a free hit draft that we will talk about. But as of now, I would go for double defense and attacker, and I think Chris would go for the other way around, right? And we have
Yeah.
already talked about. So Aditya, what's
Hmm.
your which side you will be going on?
At the moment, I'm more leaning towards having double defense and an attacker. So that's how we've seen, right? Is maybe Cancelo, Laporte, and Foden. I think these three might be somehow you can stretch in a free hit draft. Otherwise, if you go with KDB, what happens is I'm pretty sure you can only have Salah and one of Son and KDB, because you can't have both of them. Then you're going to have issues with stretching your funds elsewhere. So I think Chris made a few tweaks to fit in KDB, so that we'll see later. But I think at
Yeah.
the moment, I think Cancelo someone is certain. The other defender we'll have to see. I mean, Ederson probably will be the safest
Yeah.
pick if
I
you
would
want
have
to go,
mentioned that. I
rather
think
than going double
for
defense.
a week to if you're free hitting, I think he's gonna be a nice option for
Yeah.
just 1 week to not really waste the funds for a long time. I think they can easily get 2 clean sheets, and you're nailed to get both if they do keep the
Yeah, I mean,
clean sheets.
100% he is going to give you two starts, and but probably the ceiling is 12 pointers. So that's the
It's not
only
bad.
thing. Yeah,
Six
yeah, yeah,
million. It's not bad.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. So I think we don't need to talk about all the teams, right? Like City, we'll cover it more in the free hit. United, I don't think we need to talk. Like
Yeah.
they have a
Bad.
blank, plus they don't
Get
have
rid of the
player
bad.
for
Yeah.
now. So yeah,
Liverpool.
yeah. So Liverpool. So Liverpool are playing today, and I think one of the biggest topics that has been going around is Klopp's pressure after the game. He mentioned that he wanted to rest Robbo, but he couldn't because he had rested some other players. So if Robertson starts today and plays close to 90, I would think it would be safe to assume that he'll be rested in one of the two games of the
One game.
double game week. Then that obviously that definitely changes how that we probably won't go with Robertson on a free hit. So any of you guys have Robertson? So maybe we can start. What?
No.
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 Okay. So I don't know whether that's a good thing or bad, because if let's say if he doesn't start uh, today, then he's nailed on for playing both the games. And looking at his form, he might yeah, I think
Yeah.
he
Tamika's good start
might
today.
start, yeah, might start today. But again, it's a crucial Champions League game,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
I
I
don't
do
think
think
so.
you go
I
on.
don't think so. I think it's going to be Robertson who might play today. That's my opinion. We don't know. Klopp is the one who's going to decide. But today is a very tough game. Liverpool are going away, and it's Spain is always. I mean, Villarreal are always a hostile crowd. I mean, it's you're playing away from home, right? And 2-0 uh, is a decent lead based on the first leg result, but things could change. I mean, Villarreal managed to beat Bayern also, right? So things can happen. There may be upset.
yeah,
So
the
you will
only
prefer to have a better, like a set of players playing this game, see it out,
Yeah.
because Liverpool are playing Newcastle, right? Sorry, they're playing Spurs and Villa. So
Tough
although the
game too.
Spurs game, yeah, Spurs
Really
game is
tough game.
definitely, both the games are, I mean, not easy, but I mean
Yeah,
for
so
Liverpool,
that's the
right?
thing. If they were playing Aston Villa for the first game, then probably I would have been more confident of Robertson getting benched or not getting benched today. But because they have a Spurs game next, so if Robertson plays today, I mean, almost certainly he plays against Tottenham, right? Then you are kind of delaying his rest for 2 games, and the way Klopp goes about rotating his players based on their orange flag or red flag, in terms of their minutes. I think today might also be the day. So yeah, that is also one thing that we're looking at. But one thing, like apart from Robertson, obviously Trent now got his rest last game week, so I think he looks good to play double at this point. So I think all of us have Trent. Probably nobody's going to captain Trent, and he's going to be close to 100%. So it's kind of a player, we probably don't need to talk about. But uh, I'm thinking, if you are on a free hit, there is a probably a debate whether you should target one of the Jota or Luis Diaz to get possible upside. Is it something that any of those two you guys think might be good to go?
Um, I actually added Jota to my free hit draft where we're gonna show later, but I do think it depends on who starts today a lot. But I think right now the best three is sorry, Diaz, Salah, Mane. As we've seen, he prefers that front three, but uh, I think Jota can equally get into that side with the same ease. So I don't know how he's gonna line up today. I think that's what I'm looking right now because I think uh, one of Jota and Diaz will start today, and the other one will start the league, at least one league game. And I think if Jota doesn't start today, I think he starts the next two league games. I think. Uh, why wouldn't he? He's been really good. It's not as if he's getting dropped because he hasn't been playing good. So that's something you need to weigh up. So he's getting dropped. I think it's a more important game than today for Diaz to play than it is against Tottenham. I think they can win that game a bit more comfortably. And yeah, I think Matip is also a good value as Vyron mentioned. I think I looked at him 5.2. He's definitely starting for me. So yeah, uh,
Yeah, Matip plays Premier League, but again, like back-to-back games is something
yeah.
we may need to watch out for. Yeah, and in our free hit draft, we can definitely cover some more aspects on that.
Hmm.
So we want to move along.
Yes, we can move on to the next team, but quickly, I think Luis Diaz is someone I think he'll play in the Champions League. So Jota, we'll see. It's more kind of preferred to play the games in the Prem. So
League, yeah.
again, the European games will help us set up better free hit
Mm.
drafts as we get closer to the deadline. And probably the next team that we'll cover is Chris's Chelsea. What do we do with Havertz, Rudiger, Reece
Uh,
James? Do we keep them, keep some of them, transfer some of them out? What do we do?
yeah.
Yeah, for first question, Chris, before you start, I want to ask you
Yeah,
this
go on.
question. Plenty of people are expecting Chelsea to play weaker side against Leeds and maybe rest some players after, or rotate some players after not so good performance against Everton. So, what are your thoughts on Chelsea playing a weaker team in one of the two games, or possibly in both?
I don't see us playing a weak team in both games. No way. We need to win at least one game out of these two. Like I don't think we can feel comfortable right now with the current situation. I think a win would let us focus more on on the FA Cup final. I mean, Leeds. I think we could be Leeds with a weaker side of ours, which is still a good side because a weaker side would be Lukaku, Pulisic, and so on. I don't think that's a weak side against Leeds. So yeah, I can see that happening, and I'm actually worried about my assets. Reece James, does he play Leeds before a crucial final? I don't see it happening. I really
I mean,
don't.
just one thing I wanted to check, because would it not be against like the integrity of the leagues? Obviously, Chelsea have to think about themselves. Like Wolves game, they can, if they put up a weak team, it's okay. But let's say if they put a very weak team against Leeds and Leeds end up beating Chelsea, it would not be fair on Everton and Burnley, or at least that those those shouts would definitely come up. But
No one cares. I think they care. By the way, Everton really irritated me in the game. I think the players are taking the piss at this moment. Honestly, if you show Mina what he was doing the whole game, he was trying to create tension and stuff, and Howard just pushed him, and he felt like a fish. He just literally drop down for no reason. I don't like that, and I think
They did the
that's
same thing at the Anfield, right? I mean, they
yeah,
didn't want to
yeah,
play that game either.
yeah.
But I mean, I
I'm really
understand your
irritated
certain
by that.
point, but yeah, that is very
Yeah,
bad.
I wouldn't mind them going down. I'm sorry, but that kind of behavior, I don't like. I don't like it honestly. It's but yeah. Besides that, I think I'm gonna look to get rid of at least one of them. I have triple up Reece James, Rudiger, and Havertz. I think Havertz definitely gets rotated in one game. Uh, Definitely, he's still one of our best players, and I think we need him in the cup final. And I think we will try to put the best squad possible against Liverpool because, good God, we need to beat them in the final. It's getting annoying at this point, losing to Liverpool in penalties.
But
Uh,
Rudiger might
so
play both, right?
again,
Rudiger might play both.
yeah, the only one I'm planning to just keep there is Rudiger because we do have a lack of options. I do not expect Thiago Silva to play both games. Asby, uh, I think he's more physically ready to play those two games, but we've been really struggling at this point. So yeah, I think I'm gonna sell Havertz and James ahead of these last weeks. So
Wow,
yeah,
selling James, that's a big call. I mean, uh,
Hmm.
in terms of
he's.
eye test, right? Like gets into such good positions. I would say
I
even
know.
if he gets like one of those games and Wolves the form they're in, I mean that might be again 18 pointer followed by 0 pointer. So
It depends on I don't know. I feel safer selling James knowing that he's gonna get benched in the Leeds game. If the Liverpool game goes to extra time, he might even get the Leicester game out.
yeah,
So I think his fitness will not be risked. He's really important.
No, I was just checking Reece James' score. The last two consecutive game weeks he scored 2 points. Before that, it's always been 1-0 or some haul. So
yeah.
Yeah.
That's Rich James for you. And in a game against United, right? Like I mean, he could have
Oh,
easily had like
good
18
God,
hmm.
that
pointer
game.
against.
He should
Yeah.
have had a mega hole that game. Trust
Yeah,
me.
we always talk about keep being on the bad side of the decision, but I was on the good side on game week
Yeah.
34 free hit. Like I if I could have afforded Reece James, I would have him in place of Alonso, but just because he was not getting into my budget, that's why I got Alonso, and like he ended up outscoring like what
We did
18
recommend
points.
Alonso too. I think he was the best pick in terms of value too. So we did recommend him, and I think it was a really good shot. Shall we? We want to comment something, guys?
Yeah,
Chelsea.
Yeah,
so
I
just
mean
one.
Havertz. I mean, I wanted to ask quickly about Havertz, right? So there's a chance that he might get rotated off, right? Keeping in mind the FA Cup final, or he could lose his place potentially because of not putting up the performances that Tuchel expects. So even if you want to move away from Havertz, I know that people are looking at Foden straight away as an option, right? Quickly, but again, it's so like we don't know about Pep, right? I mean, Havertz to Foden makes sense if you don't want to free hit this week and you have a couple of good amount of players for this double game week. But Pep can throw Googly and Foden could be benched in one of the games. So it is so difficult. So just in
Yeah.
point of view for covering Havertz, who could we possibly look at that price range of 7.98, I think.
I mean, I
Yeah,
think Aston Villa have double double. Yeah, they do. I think if you go Coutinho, it's close. He's 7 million. I think I would like him as an option. Two doubles in a row.
yeah,
So
Leicester midfielders. I mean, that might be a good point to switch on to the next team. Leicester. I mean, again, Leicester are the team where a lot depends on their
Europe, yeah,
yeah
yeah.
what they
Roma,
do
the
in
game against
the
Roma.
last second leg against Roma. But if they end up, I think Roma might should beat them, and Leicester won't be going ahead. If they don't go to the final, then I think there is no reason why. Rogers will bench or rest any of the players, but Madison has already injuries of his own, so I don't feel confident. But yeah, at that price range, you are seeing like Barnes, Madison, Coutinho, so all of those look good options. But just one quick word of caution because you are planning to sell Havertz. Although I can understand 36, 37, you need to pick the optimum players, but Game week 38 fixture Chelsea, Watford home. I would not, I would really, feel good about having triple
Yeah.
Chelsea in that game because Watford would have been relegated by them. I'm pretty sure. And I'm
We
not.
are struggling to score anyway. I mean, we are a team struggling. So I don't know. I don't trust us as much right now to have a great game. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I want to see how it all escalates. I want to see how the final goes. I think the psychology in the squad is uh, it's really fluctuating, and I don't know. We need to see what happens with the takeover. We're a club right now that's in a really weird state, and I think I'm not really worried of someone exploding in a game other than James. I think.
Yeah. So, in nutshell, I would say like for this game week 36 and 37, maybe uh, probably everybody is going to have the players from only maybe 7 or 8 teams, like the few which we discussed, and probably from Arsenal, Everton, and Spurs. Like so, maybe if we can cover them here quickly. So, in terms of Spurs, right? So, one thing that is clear that Spurs are the only team in the double game week, maybe apart from Arsenal, that they are not going to rest players or they are not going to have to rest the players because they have been playing only probably once a week for most of the time. And so it's kind of a balancing act, right? Like whether you go for someone like De Bruyne or Foden, not De Bruyne might play both games, but someone like Foden who might get rested for one game, or go with Son, who will definitely play close to 180 minutes, or even Kane, right? Or even Kulusevski. So I
Cool.
think
Yeah.
that's going to be the main
Hmm.
decision. Like, because I think most of us have at least one Spurs player on paper. Like me, at least, I'm thinking about whether to go with both Kane and Kulusevski because Son probably looks the better option from Spurs. So, but again, selling Kane, who is nailed on to play 180 minutes in a double game week, I mean, it's a decision that everyone needs to make for their own. Also need to check, okay, what are the fixtures in 37 and 38, and what are your plans going to be. So, for example, if you really fancy Kane in the game week 37 and 38, I would, recommend holding on to him. Even if you want to switch it to Son, who looks a better option, I think you need to take a -4 for that. And if you fancy Kane for the other 2 weeks, then I think it's probably worth a hold. And similarly, people who have Son over Kane, I think they can easily stay. So
Hmm.
I think you and me, Chris, have Kane, right? But only Aditya has Son.
It's been a painful
Yeah.
few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that on paper, I like, if I just forget about watching games, I could easily stick with Kane, and that's very easy decision. But because I watched Spurs play in last few weeks, it really doesn't make me. There is no real point where I can say, okay, this is the point where Kane is better than Son, because in every aspect
Yeah.
of the game, probably apart from penalties, which Spurs never seem to get, uh, only apart from penalties, everywhere when Kane is involved, Son is going to be at the end of
Yeah.
it, so he'll be scoring goal, and plus Son takes more set pieces, so he has even more threat of assist. So and again, like apart from Son, there are not many finishers in the Spurs team. So even if Kane has to go on assist, him assisting somebody else than Son, that doesn't look likely. So it's not an easy decision. So do you have any thoughts of selling Kane?
No. He's the least of my concerns right now. Because I think it's a move that can go really either way. It can backfire quickly. I definitely agree with your point, but uh, King could easily just score 3 goals in a game. No one cares if he drops Steve. I think he has the same natural finishing that Son has, and he can easily do damage. Uh, Maybe I will think about it if the funds will help somewhere else, but not otherwise. Yeah.
Hmm. Because I mean, I think if you have Kane, just keep Kane, and if you have Son, you keep Son,
It's all about
and
the funds, I
you'll be
think. After all, yeah. If you
yeah.
need funds, yeah.
Yeah, especially
You
because a
could.
lot of other players that we might want to buy and sell, right? That the move in that area doesn't necessarily warrant -4. Obviously, if if you have stomach to bear the consequence, you can go ahead. But it's just that if I end up doing that move and the player I sell halls, then I don't have any valid justification why I went for that move. So it's just like make the best decision. Okay, if it doesn't go your way, that's it. I mean, it looks like I've made the decision to go with Kane ahead of Son for next rest of the 3 game weeks, and that's what I'll have to stick with.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's pretty straightforward. I mean, just stick
Yeah.
with who you have and just don't break your head doing the other way. Because few weeks back we did have a debate where people were moving, shuffling
Kane Son.
between these two. Yeah, so
Yeah,
just stick with what you have. And I think the four players from Spurs, I would say, I mean, Kane, Son, Kulu have one. I mean, one of Kane, Son you should have. Kulusevski is basically people are balancing out if they don't have any funds, they do whatever they have. And then probably Ben Davis, but clean sheets is something you cannot expect.
Yeah.
But as just a starting defender, I think that would be just the four players I would say.
Yeah, especially the fixtures. Arsenal and Liverpool don't like the fixtures, where at least if
Hmm.
you could see only one of the one fixture as a possible clean sheet, you probably would go with it. But at least I'm not looking at
Hmm.
it.
yeah,
So
I
I think
get
we've
you. Yeah.
covered Spurs. We've
Yeah.
covered Spurs. We have to quickly move to the other teams. I think we did speak a bit about Leicester. So let's just quickly summarize Leicester, which players to target. I think preferably Madison is going to be that shout, or maybe Schmeichel. Considering that, I think he's a good shout in having as a goalkeeper. I
Iheanacho
think they
isn't
have
bad. I
two
think.
consecutive. Yeah, and
I
Barnes, we
think.
don't know what is happening. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're free hitting 36, then keeper Schmeichel would be my top choice. I think he's 4.9 as well. So because if you're free hitting in 37, I think Pickford is choice, and if you're free hitting in 36, it's Schmeichel. I mean, at least on paper, those look to be the straightforward decisions. And Vardy being back, I wouldn't want to punt on any of their attackers. So yeah, you're right. It's between one of those three: Michael, Barnes, and Madison. And again, like we need to keep an eye on what Madison's injury status is, because what Rogers said that he hopes Madison will be fine for Thursday. So if he doesn't even make the important this game, what conference League or Mickey Mouse Cup that game, then yeah, having Madison probably is not the good idea.
Small Amin says, Manin Coutinho to KDB and Saka. If we're gonna respond to that, I think that's a really. Oh, shall we
I
answer
think we'll
that
answer
later?
the questions.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep the questions last.
Okay.
We'll just cover up the teams. I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
next we'll go with
Yeah.
Villa,
Yeah, I think we can
Aston Villa.
cover Villa and Everton,
Free hit. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
I
together
think so
because
too.
they have doubles. And uh, one point like all of us need to think about it, like those two teams don't really have experience of playing in midweeks. Obviously because they are not involved in Europe much. So do you think there is a risk of for a popular assets like Coutinho, let's say, that maybe getting an odd bench period, because that is something that definitely worries me for a captaincy shout on 37, because they have a pretty good fixtures on paper on 37. So
I mean, Coutinho has played big clubs, so I don't think as a player that's gonna be a problem for him. I think the player matters more than the club, and they're professional athletes. They have a certain standard of fitness, and I think barring injuries, I think they're gonna be fine. That's my opinion, at
yeah,
least.
because I think if the title race goes to the last day, then Gerard definitely would want to get something, or he'll try to get something in the last game against Man City.
Yeah,
And if that's the
probably.
case, he might want to keep Coutinho fresh for that game. So you never know. But again,
I don't think he's gonna do that, but I think he's
no.
gonna put out a strong team. Uh,
We just saw what Lampard did, right, to Chelsea.
I mean, yeah, uh, they were struggling. Yeah,
Okay, about Everton, I think I just read the news that probably Richarlison is going to escape the ban. So that's a
yeah, I
good thing
think
for his
a
owners, and
fine.
also
I think.
yeah,
Yeah,
fine, and
fine.
maybe some. I think
yeah.
for whatever it's worth, it is the right decision in the current state of play, because if Richarlison gets banned for the rest of the season, I don't see the way Everton could stay up, and that is like a huge decision.
I don't think he deserves to get a ban for that.
Yeah, and
It was
especially I didn't see that in a live in a live game, but I thought like for celebration purpose he took out that flare and threw it. So I thought, oh, he's definitely getting banned. But that was not the case. Somebody threw it on the field, so they could
Yeah,
easily
yeah.
say he just picked it
Just
up
took
and
it.
send it back where where
Just
it
took it.
belongs.
Yeah. I think that was a really nice moment, by the way. There's nothing wrong with it, in my opinion. Like he's him holding the flame. It was a really nice picture too. So, yeah, rules are rules, but I don't think a ban is justified here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So quickly, in short, Shiva, we'll have to finish wrap up very quickly. So Villa players to pick would be, I think, definitely Cash would be one. Now Digne all of a sudden made a heroic comeback, so
is my
people will
differential.
look
He's
at.
my the differential.
And then I think Coutinho, who's been blanking for a lot of weeks now, been a pain that those who got him in a wild card in Game Week 26, I think, odd. And there's been decent performances in between, but not good. Watkins is a shout over the last few weeks, I think, who definitely even scored. So I think Cash or Coutinho, Watkins. And then as a cheap midfielder would be Jacob Ramsey, who you don't expect more than 5 points. I think these would be the players, right?
Yeah, yeah. And one thing about Villa is if you are free hitting in 37, you don't have to go for them because in 36, one of their game is Liverpool and other is Burnley, which I think Burnley will be up for it and probably win it. And then the last game is against Man City in 38. So if you are free hitting in
Hmm.
37, I think at this point, if you have already missed the
Yeah,
boat
avoid
for
them.
Norwich game, yeah, I
Yeah.
think you can
Hmm.
stay away from them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So next,
yeah,
Everton.
for Everton, it's the other way around. For Everton, it's the better fixtures, or is it Leicester?
Yeah, it's Leicester and Watford, and then they play, I think, Brentford and Palace in 37.
Yeah,
So
so
not
same.
that bad, but it depends, right? If Leicester beat Roma, then we might see rotation there, and it's basically Watford. Everton is basically, if Watford is going down, then they'll be like, "I'm going down, even you can come down with me." So they might play that game. So
Yeah, and Watford are likely to be more open now. I think the draws will not help them, and probably they'll go for all-out attack and probably get done on counter. So yeah, I mean Everton. I think Richarlison, Gordon, and Pickford. I think those are the straightaway three
Yeah,
picks.
yeah.
And
I
Gordon,
like
even
those.
yeah, even he helps
Mm.
your team structure. He's 4.6, and I think he's pretty good. Also for the Everton assets, I won't necessarily mind holding them for the last week if they have something to play for in that game. Arsenal are a team who probably would show some nerves on the last day if they have to get some result, and that might be a game where Everton can get something out. So you never know. So yeah, I think we have covered every team in nutshell. Maybe we can go over free hit draft and maybe talk about some
Yeah.
other teams what
So
mix and
we'll
match we
first
can.
go to Shiva, your free hit draft. So Shiva's free hit draft is on the screen, and he can quickly walk us through it why he chose these specific players. I think we covered most of them, but still his thoughts.
So I think Salah and De Bruyne are two players that I had to start with because those missed the last game, and even if they play 90 minutes in the midweek this week, I am expecting them to start both of their double game week games. So those I started the free hit. If I was on a free hit, I would start with those two plus Son. Even if Spurs fixtures on paper look tough, the way Liverpool play the high line and also Arsenal, like they are not a team who can defend deep. I think Son is going to get some joy in this double game week. So those are the three that I would like to start with. And once you invest budget in those three, then your options are really limited. So basically, then possibly I have to rule out some other midfielders like say Madison or Coutinho, where I have to go with Gordon, just to make the balance and have some money left for other way. But I would be really happy with this midfield: De Bruyne, Salah, Son, and Gordon. Gordon, like his fixtures look really good. He looks nailed, and at that price, if he's in your playing 11, it sort of compensates for the budget around the other areas of their team. So that is the midfield that I would go with. So this is basically a 4-4-2 draft. And like last week, whatever drafts I was making, I was going for 4-5-1 or even 5-4-1. But because certain Nketiah is now looking nailed in that Arsenal team, and Arsenal are playing Leeds in one of their double game week games, and I do think that there are some goals to be taken in that game. So Nketiah, again, because of his price, I would definitely consider him in a free hit. And Richarlison, like I think with the fixtures and with the motivations they have, the form he's showing, I think he's a He's probably obvious choice on the free hit. So those are the front two, Nketiah and Richarlison. So that opens up again, like, a big kind of a big budget at the back to go with Cancelo, Laporte, Alexander Arnold, and Reece James. I've gone with because just what I said to Chris, like he's selling Reece James, and I would be little worried if I were in that position because even if he plays one game, he's like the upside is pretty high, and you know, we are expecting Tuchel to play a weaker team against Leeds, but we did the same thing. We did predict the same thing against Everton, right? All of us predicted that in the game against Everton, he is going to rest Havertz, Reece James, and probably Werner, but he started with his best team. So even predictions are at one side, but what he thinks, he might just 3 days before the big final, he may want to, test the same team, for 60 minutes.
Definitely, yeah.
So he might even start. So
Hmm.
I won't necessarily rule out the Chelsea assets for the same reason. And James is obviously I've gone with. And as I said, like for 36 free hits, Michael is the best keeper, I think. For 37, it will be Pickford. 36 is Michael. So depending on if you have like little more team value, I think my team value is not that high, is 104 or something point something. But if you have like more team value, maybe you could afford some better players. Maybe instead of Gordon, you could afford somebody else. But I think this is essentially what I would go with. Again, if Robertson is rested today, there is a case probably you can go Alexander Arnold and Robertson double up. That also might not be a bad idea. So those are probably few tweaks that I would do. But popular players
I
like
think if you do that, then I think KDV might be the one downgraded to do that.
Uh, no, I won't downgrade KDB. As I said, like when I built this free hit team, De Bruyne, Salah, and Son. These I started with these three. So
But then if
I
you will definitely need another, I think, 3 point something, right? 3 point, I think three, right? How much you need?
yeah,
3.4 you will
or
need, right?
maybe you could go like instead of Cancelo, you could go. If you get some information, you could go Laporte and Diaz, or if Stones is ruled out, something like that. So that also can be done.
But still, you need to stretch 1-2 million here and there. So,
Mm, yeah. Yeah, but I mean that is similar to what we know. 4-4-2 is something
hmm.
that I would go with.
Okay. So next, I think we'll go to Chris. So this is Chris's
Yeah.
draft.
Yeah, it was it's a 3-5-2 draft, this one. And now that you showed the draft, I think I would have liked to go with the same core as you, but I believe that it's gonna you can downgrade one of those three to a same team player, and I think the best downgrade you can do is Jota, because Son to Kulusevski is, mm, will he start? Will he play wing back? Because I think that's what Conte said last week, and that's why I sold him personally. I think Jota will play both games, hopefully, if Diaz starts today. And I think KDB is the only one who I wouldn't feel comfortable getting any other City mid over him on a free hit. I just feel he's the most nailed and influential right now. He's been on tremendous form. Uh, so yeah, I cannot see Pep benching him for this final run in. Whatever happens in that Madrid game. So yeah, that's my view on it. Uh, I didn't want to double up in defense. I do think there's one clean sheet for each of these teams, but I don't think one of the actual defenders is gonna, uh, Liverpool is tricky, and I think Ederson and Cancelo are the safest double up in a way because he's a keeper, but I feel like Ederson is the safest second option from the City defense because I think Cancelo is up here for me, but the rest are just I wouldn't like to get someone who plays one game and miss out on two clean sheets. So I think Ederson is worth the extra fans spent. I think really good plays both games, and we have a good chance of keeping at least one clean sheet. We know he has a threat. He almost scored against Everton, right? He face of Pickford, he saved it. I
Hmm.
think he always has that potential to score. So I think he's a good choice. And up front, uh, Up front, I think it's the time to take the risk on these two teams. If not now, then when? I think Everton and Leicester that arguably the two best doubles in terms of fixture. I think, and I think Nacho should play. It's a bet, but I think he should play. Vardy might start too, but I think Nacho, I don't know. I feel like he plays. And Richarlison, he has that fight in him, that the spirit of a fighter. And I think he's gonna show that in double. Try to keep them up, and of course Coutinho and Saka uh, as cheap players, to enable the squad to become complete.
Yeah, for first question, I would like to ask, like, do you think Iheanacho plays more minutes than Nketiah, for example? It might be coming from like biased on my own free hit team, but
Yeah, I actually think it's a good shout, but would you go Nketiah over Saka?
no, I mean you could still.
That's my only. I would like to have a Leicester attacker, like a midfielder attacker, and if that's the competition, if it's Nketiah, Saka, and not sure Barnes or Madison, whatever, they could. I think the Leicester guys are gonna be really hard to predict who plays how many minutes. So I would rather have Saka and Nacho rather than Nketiah and like Barnes who might play like, or Madison who might play one game, and then I have Nketiah over Saka in an Arsenal double. That's the way I'm thinking of it. I think Saka will outscore Nketiah by a significant margin.
Yeah, I mean the way I thought about it, like if I have to build a team for 36, none of the Leicester assets appeal me for like or convince me that they'll start two games. So I'd probably stick with Arsenal game. But you're right. Like only thing is like you are taking a big risk already in going without Salah in this team and adding that to Ian Nacho. So this is like probably if it works out, you'll probably make good ground. But if all the usual suspects do their
Yeah,
thing,
it's not a safe free hit by all
yeah,
means.
yeah, it is
Not at all.
risky. If Salah would have had played against Newcastle, yeah, there even I might have thought about going without it, but yeah, because now he's rested and raring to go. Plus, like there are two players now closing in on Golden Boot award, so I definitely think that's going to be on his mind. So he definitely let that feeling know.
Yeah, fair enough.
So next we'll go on to my draft and then we'll quickly answer the questions, captaincy and wrap up. We have to finish in another 10-15 minutes. Can't carry long. So my team, my draft also kind looks very similar to what we were discussing the previous two. Schmeichel in goal, Laporte, Rashford, Trent, Cancelo. So that's four. I think it's Saka, Foden, Salah, Son, Coutinho, five. And then I think Richarlison is 1-4-5-1. My team value is a bit low, so I just have around 103. So I had to just work around with whatever the best I could do at this point. Only thing probably is Foden is a bit of concern. Don't know whether he's going to play. I mean, in short, Man City, we don't know who's going to play. We're just walking in the dark. So I think besides Ederson, I mean, I hope some not Stefan. I don't think or Carson. I don't hope they don't play, but Ederson might be the only one nailed. But it is Pep, so we don't know. So we don't know about Man City. I think Liverpool. I think Trent, Salah is fine. Arsenal, Saka is somebody better. Son, just because I have Son, and Coutinho again is has been very inconsistent. But I think with the lack of options and looking at the doubles, I think this only looks kind of viable. So that's my team. And bench cover is absolutely none. It's that's the issue, right? If somebody gets rotated, we know that it's a double game week. Fine, like in one of the games, at least your player will play. But if not, then that's a case of something which is very unexpected. I don't see that thing. Pep
I think
doesn't mess with his
that's going to
center
be the
back.
case with most of the free hit teams because there are lots of premiums to consider, and obviously you would take that chance. Like, okay, if you are backing some player
Mm.
to play twice, even if he misses out one game, the other game he should play 90 minutes. So I think that's the risk. I think probably every free hitter would take.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to, right? It's just last 3 weeks are left. You can't sit and like play safe. You have to go all out at this. I mean, it's a make or break time for most of us. So this is my draft, and I think there are more couple of drafts mentioned on all about FPL's blogs. I think you can check it out. something which is very much along the similar lines, and there are a lot of pros and cons and other things mentioned. Even taking a look at game week 37, so it's basically, in short, based on a squad structure, how many doublers you have for this week, and then looking at next week, and if you have the free hit, you see when do you want to use it, 36, 37, or even 38, wherein all the games take place at once, and there's a lot of high scoring issues that we've seen over the last few seasons. So I think so. We've done with the drafts, and hopefully you can come to a conclusion, those who are watching and listening. And next we will go on to some of the questions that we got so from Instagram, and then we look at the questions on YouTube. So I think, Shiva, you can answer a few of them, whichever you feel is good and
So
common.
is Kane to Son worth it now? So I'd like to talk about it because it's something that I am contemplating with. So the reason why I am sticking with Kane is because if I am pretty sure that Son is a better choice in this double game week. But if I look at the Burnley home fixture and Norwich away in the last game week, I think I would want Kane in that, and it doesn't make sense. The moment I switch from Kane to Son, the next game week I'm going to have the same feeling back, like move from Son back to Kane, because even if like Son is up for Golden Boot, he's showing good forms. I think Kane definitely would want to finish the season on high. So that is because of the fixtures in 37 and 38. I would not do that move, and especially considering that there is no way that you can do that move in a free transfer. You have to take a hit to do that. So that's why I won't. So should I cover a couple of more?
Yeah, you can cover up whichever you feel is quite of common and enticing.
Yeah, so let's see. So switch Sterling for KDB. I'll take. So I think I would, because even if Sterling played like two full games, last two games, he has not been amongst the goals, and because Sterling is not in Pep's first choice 11 now, I definitely think that he's going to start only one of the two fixtures, and KDB is going to start both. Also, from the one of the presses, I think it was from Jesus. We found out that when the KDB is on pitch, he's the penalty taker. So Mahrez, KDB, and then probably Sterling. So even the penalties way, I think KDB just rates a little bit higher. So yeah, I think I would switch Sterling for KDB. Uh, Last one I would take is like Son or KDB. So, as I said in my free hit, like if you are on a free hit, obviously I would try to squeeze both in. But if I'm doing a free transfer and if I have to pick one, uh, I would go KDB if you already own Kane. But if you don't own Kane, then I would go with Son. So I think that would be my answers.
Yeah, so this is just one section of the questions. We do have two more slides. So uh so Shiva, I
I
think if you want, you can drop off. uh I know you have a meeting scheduled next immediately, another 2-3 minutes, so you can probably throw out your captaincy options, and then maybe me and Chris can cover up the remaining questions and wind up.
Okay, thank you. So quickly, so because again, as I said, like Salah and KDB have were rested in last games. I think those are my top two captaincy picks, and obviously, like they are good picks as well as their safe picks. Salah definitely is going to be on more than 150% effective ownership, so obviously he won't gain you anything from captaining. But apart from that, I think captaining Cancelo or even Trent, who are, even despite defenders, their teams are posting some good defensive numbers. So if you're looking for a differential, I think this is a good week to look for captaining your defender and Cancelo, Trent, and if Robertson is rested in against Villarreal, then even Robertson. I think those are decent shouts for the differential captaincy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Okay, then Shiva.
you guys can carry on with the other questions. Thank you.
So Shiva had to drop off
Okay.
because he has an urgent meeting. So I think we'll carry on with some of the questions here. And I think one I saw was Mendy on a free hit.
Mendy.
What do you think, Chris? Yeah,
No, I don't like him. I'd rather go with someone like Schmeichel,
Ederson.
Pickford, even. Yeah. I don't think. Yeah, I think my three
Yeah.
best options are. I wouldn't touch Mendy. at all.
Yeah, I think if you're willing to pay 6.1, go Ederson, or else just go with
Yeah,
Michael and use
definitely.
the funds.
If you think
Yeah,
about the
so I
price tag
think.
too, you wouldn't just pick him over Ederson. Yeah.
Hmm.
Should we? So there's a question
Hmm.
about a goalkeeper option. City or Chelsea for -4, or keep Ramsdale. Don't waste the free transfer goalkeeper at this point. I
Yeah,
think that's it. Wrong. Just
Ramsdale is fine. He has a
not much
double, so
upside
that.
anyway. Yeah. Uh, shall we uh,
You want
suggest
to go to the
me
next
for
section?
which one? Yeah, should we? I don't think there's much
Okay, we'll just cover up
inter
this 4.8 million defender who was
that will
uh,
give me fixture in give me 36. Uh, I think
hmm,
you could go with Tottenham guys. No, no guaranteeing clean shit, but they could get something. I don't love the price tag, and there's not many players that come to mind. IMO. Uh, I have
yeah.
to
I
think
don't. I
about
don't think.
this.
I think one of the Arsenal defenders might be the only shout.
Yeah,
I think Ben White
potentially
is
Arsenal
injured,
defenders. Yeah.
so yeah. I think Tomiyasu, I
So
think, was back. Nuno Tavares, so
yeah,
uh, maybe
I don't
few
think
of
there's
these
any
players.
other.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
Uh, so we'll go to the next section. That is safe city players. Ask Pep.
Who is that? Oh, Jesus Christ! Yeah, I don't think we can take this on our necks. I definitely believe that this is a really a question that's you can't phrase it like that. There's no safe. Ederson say
Yeah.
is safe. I think. Besides that, it's De Bruyne, Cancelo, and then it's just the chaos,
Hmm.
in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Everton assets we did cover earlier, so just listen to that.
Yeah, I
Robertson
think
also we
we did
covered.
cover pretty
Best
good.
week to free hit to gain rank.
I do think that this week most of us have at least 10, 11 doublers.
Yeah, on an average,
So
people have around 12 doublers.
yeah,
So
unless you need to make some drastic changes, and I mean, how much? I mean, I think most of us will try to switch up premiums or something, or I think the most important thing is the captaincy in a double game week. So if you have your
hmm,
preferred captain, and a hit could be justified too. So I think 37 is going to be a bit harder to navigate without a free hit potentially. Uh, and you can also leave out Villa assets if you don't have any from your thinking. I think it's a good thing that you might not want to get stuck with them for the city game. Yeah,
hmm.
so I think that's potentially
So
a good shout.
yeah, I mean, you can either use it this week if you don't have the
Yeah,
premiums or
team
not.
dependent.
Next
Team
week is
dependent.
a bit of May, I would say. 37. We have five teams doubling, but the results won't go your way. And then 38, I think, could give you a lot of upside.
Yeah.
Because we'll have different players playing, players getting chance who haven't performed this season, maybe debutants and all here and there. So we'll have a different set of
I'd rather do it
drama.
37 or 38 rather than 36
Hmm.
personally. Yeah.
Okay, so thus we have done that. Best captain this week for chasing mini league. I think I would say Cancelo.
KDB is also really a really good shot. I think he's really quite low owned. I think to be
KDB
fair,
is around 10%. The ownership is
what
fine, but the captaincy will
I think
also,
he's always
which
quite low.
yeah.
I
So
think.
yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Let's
one
see.
thing.
-8
Sorry.
bad. Yeah, it's not bad. -8 on a double game week. Probably gonna pay
Uh,
off. To be
City
honest.
players we did cover up the combinations.
Yeah, I
KDB or
think we
Salah
did
captain is a coin toss. I think it's just
throw
go
the
with who
coin.
you want.
I personally gonna go with KDB. I don't have Salah, but if I did have Salah, I would still go with KDB. I think.
My armband is on my armband is on Salah because I don't have KDB, but we'll see what
Yeah.
happens if I free hit or not. Uh, Jesus or Laporte for third City player? Um,
Or who?
Jesus or Laporte?
You see, Jesus comes has played really well, but I wonder, does he start him tomorrow? Could he?
Yeah, we'll have to see. I
Probably
think he
will,
will start tomorrow.
because
Yeah.
he's found some kind of rhythm and a form in the team. So I think he starts right now as the best team possible. So will he play in the league? I don't know. He plays one game, sure,
We'll
but
see.
I don't know. I think I'd rather go Laporte.
I mean, yeah, I think we'll see. Funds and structure will play. Three must-haves this week is Salah in that. Uh,
Three must have
three
this week.
must-haves.
Is that the question?
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah, that's why I can't see it. Um, I think for me it's a Tottenham a premium asset, whatever you have. Uh, Probably Salah if you do own him. I, I don't. I don't think I'm afraid of Salah. I'm afraid of not having any other Liverpool attack. If that makes more sense. I'm not too worried about Salah like alone. I'm just worried of the whole attack. I would like to own at least one attacker. I think. I think they're gonna score like 4 to 5 goals this double. So I want to have at least something.
There are a lot of questions here. One which
I
is
mean, if we
saying
if
like
we've
Reece
discussed it,
James
I
to
think
Laporte.
we don't need to go on with it.
Yeah, I'm just checking the different ones. I'm saying like which two would you choose between Mount, Madison, Coutinho, Foden, Son? I think I would just say Son and De Bruyne just straight away.
Yeah.
Uh,
Uh,
just have those two. Liverpool clean sheet possibility. Kane scores. What is this? Clean
is
sheet
it
possibility. And
worth
nobody can say.
Kane, Dubravka, Broha for Jesus, Edison, Richarlison for a -8?
Hmm.
I mean, you're probably gonna gain the points on the keeper. Uh, Jesus, yeah, I don't see that happening. I think
You're
it all
transferring or Kane?
falls out. Yeah, falls out on. I mean, you're left out without Spurs cover, and you would like that cover in the upcoming weeks too, because they have something to play for. Let's not forget that they have no competitions to play for, another like anything else, and they do have top four chase. So I wouldn't be going without Chain or Son, even if you're chasing. I think that's not the risk that you should take right now.
Hmm.
That's my way.
Okay, I think we'll answer two more questions which I found out. Son or
Yeah,
Kane essential? I'm worried after this game week will difficult fixture affect them. I think
I
having
think
one
they
of
can
them
still
is
do
better.
well. Yeah, one,
Yeah,
one, but I think they'll do good because tough games. I think Spurs do turn up. They can turn up in tough games. They did it
hmm.
against City twice. Now they're chasing top four. They're in pretty good form, I think. So yeah, they won't make it easy for Spurs or Arsenal, for Liverpool or Arsenal. And what's the next
Hmm.
one?
And the next one is who to have instead of Sterling, Werner, and Reece James.
Anyone, honestly. Yeah. On a serious note, though,
I think you should might keep Reece James as you were saying that.
yeah. I mean, he's the only one you could keep. I think the other two you should bin them. I
I think
think
Werner
Werner.
to maybe Richarlison,
I would like that. I would really like that. And it's a nice move.
and then maybe
You're going down in
and then
value, so
maybe do Sterling to KDB or someone if you have enough
I
funds.
think Sterling depends on your team structure. But yeah, if you can get to KDB, I would like that. I mean, do you
Hmm.
think if someone can go Salah and they want to go for Mane, do you think that's a bad option? I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, no, that's not a bad
If you
option.
if you can't set your Salah, I think Mane's a. I think they're gonna have a similar score till now in the end of the season. So you don't need to stretch that money if you can't. If they're not on Salah already, that's my take on it. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think
So I
we've
think
I
we're
think
done
we've
answering the
yeah
questions here,
we've
unless
covered the.
unless there's someone in the chat
Also,
who.
a chat question. Bench boost. in my 36. My team is Michael, Foster, Laporte, Arnold, Cancelo, Cash, Alonso, Salama, Mount, Coutinho, Gordon, Dennis, Pookie, and Ketia. By the way, the spelling is a lie. It's totally like,
Okay, this one.
oh,
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
fine.
Let's Michael.
That's fine. It
Uh,
happens. There's nothing wrong.
I mean, we get it. We
I
get it.
have one free
We
transfer.
can.
Mm,
I don't love the front line, by the way. I think the team as a whole looks nice. I would personally try to get rid of Mane to like Son, possibly. And then,
Mane to Son, maybe upgrade Dennis to Richarlison.
yeah, if you have the funds, I think you need to go for another forward. And I think you don't need to have both Salah and Mane. I think, I don't know, too many eggs in the wrong basket, possibly. You can, I think you can say that. I think you're better off spreading off the premiums, the cheaper ones. I think Son is a better option. I think we're good.
So I think, yeah, I think we're good to go. Last but not the least, we have to cover the captaincy before we wrap up. So I think KDB is
Yeah,
ranking one
KDB.
at the moment, or any Man City. KDB, Cancelo,
Stick to the
at
premiums.
3 points.
Is my take. KDB, Son, Salah. Pretty much that's it. Whichever you have, I think. Or you could go Kane. By all means. But I think that is the. I don't think you can go pick anyone else. Really, let's be honest. I mean, they are the most reliable players, and I think.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the first bracket would be KDB and then Jao Cancelo and Man City players. Second would be
Cancelo,
Salah,
yeah,
Trent,
yeah, sure. You could go for Cancelo. I
Salah,
think,
Trent, and those guys are in option two. And option three would be your Son, Kane, and other
yeah, I
differentials.
think, yeah. But I would like to go with someone who I rate like at this point of time. I think I want to go with someone who's a good player in a double game week in a crucial moment in the season. Yeah, I think we're good
Uh,
right now.
yeah, I think we got one last thing. Money to KDB.
It depends. If you have Salah, you do it. You do it.
Yeah,
If you don't,
yeah. I think he has double Liverpool, so
yeah,
makes sense.
you should. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I think that kind of covers up this live stream that we covered up for Game Week 36 preview, and we spoke a bit on the captaincy players to target, looked at the fixtures and the teams. And this is also, I think, episode 32 of the pod. So do drop us a like on YouTube and a rating on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all for the audio streaming platforms. We will be back next week, most probably covering up Game Week 37, seeing how Game Week 36 went. Probably it will be only audio only and not stream. So if you guys want stream and would like to see stream content, just drop us a comment under this video, and we'll see if we can figure things out next week. So I think that's it. We're done, and we will see you all next week. Hope Game Week 36 goes well for most of us as we're nearing end of the
let's pray.
season. Yeah.
Good luck, everyone. Have a nice weekend.